Lecrae just came out with his 10th studio album, Reconstruction. So I'm going to rank all 10 of Lecrae's albums. I'm already going to be stepping on toes on this first one. At number 10, I've got Rehab. This is a lot of people's favorite Christian hip-hop album of all time. But I gotta be honest, this sounds like what K-Love listeners and CCM lovers think that Christian hip-hop is supposed to sound like. The lyricism's not bad, but overall, I just don't think this sounds good. Sorry to disappoint. At number 9, we've got Lecrae's debut, Real Talk. Surprisingly, this is mostly self-produced. But because Lecrae's not really known as a producer, this just doesn't sound quite as good as his other albums. Number 8, we've got Rehab, The Overdose. I personally wish this was Rehab. Overall, this sounds a lot better. The themes that I do like from Rehab are continued in this album, almost as a resolution, but still the production and overall sound just is a little dated. At number 7, I've got Restoration. This album's not bad, but my biggest gripe with it is that there's almost no Christian hip-hop representation on this. Now, Lecrae's Faith is still coming through, but other Christian artists don't really show up until the deluxe edition. Even though you've got some pretty decent hip-hop tracks on this, a lot of it is either pop rap or R&B, which is just not my thing. At number 6, we've got this latest album, Reconstruction. I had a pretty good time with this record. I love the consistent theme of this album, and it's not trying to be some sort of mainstream success. It just feels like it belongs in the CHH can. My only real gripe with this album is that it kind of loses steam the further in you go. Listen to the song Deconstruction before you hear this album. At number 5, we've got the sophomore album, After the Music Stops. This is a really long album, but what I love about this album is that it feels like an act of worship from Lecrae. There are a lot of good classics and a lot of heavy hitters from this album. It's also a really good precursor to this next album, which brings us to number 4, Rebel. I don't blame Day Ones for thinking that this is his best album. The sound is a little dated. What I personally like about this album is that it's very theologically minded. I don't think Lecrae agrees with all of his doctrine on this album, and I'm sure he regrets the Mark Driscoll sample. Some of the choruses and hooks are a little too on the nose, but I think this album is good. At number 3, I've got All Things Work Together. Now I actually pre-ordered this album and I got a signed poster, and I liked it at the time, but I wasn't sure if I was going to like it this time, but it surprisingly holds up. This is his one and only release with Columbia Records, which kind of makes this his mainstream debut. I'm just really appreciative that he actually has some Christian artists on this album. You've got a lot of heavy hitters on this album. Kind of like Reconstruction, this album loses a little bit of steam towards the end, but overall it felt pretty good. I do agree with the criticism on Blessings. It just doesn't make sense to have a song with Ty Dolla $ign rapping about how he's blessed by his girl, while Lecrae's mainly talking about how he's blessed by God throughout his life. I think the Tori Kelly song was mainstream enough, and even though Hammer Time is a little bit of a cheesy song, that Metro beat is really good. At number 2, we've got Anomaly. I recently found this at my local record store for like 20 bucks. Now, I actually thought this was going to be my number 1, and it's a really good album. Some of the production is just okay, but what I think I like about this album the most is that it's a really good balance of mainstream and Christian appeal. All I Need Is You got nominated for a Grammy for Best Rap Song of the Year. Typically, that doesn't happen for Lecrae. Typically, he gets grouped in with the Christian and gospel crowd. The only track that I actively dislike on this album is the For King and Country collab. It sounds like one of those songs you would hear in a Disney Cruise commercial. Finally, at number 1, we've got Gravity. My mom randomly bought this on iTunes for me when I was 13, and it's definitely a product of its time, but there's so many good songs on this album, and it doesn't lose steam the longer you go into the album. Maybe it's nostalgia, but I still think this is his best record. I don't typically do this, but if you liked it, let me know if I should do it.